Hello, everybody, and how's everybody doing out there today? Dennis Young, primitive substance, and part two here with Paul Whitehead. If you missed the first part of the interview, we talked about this and we talked about the Genesis and Von de Graaff, but we did all that, so go back and listen to it. But Paul's all the way out in California, and Paul, thanks for doing this again.
My pleasure. The interview last time was great. I enjoyed it. You
Oh,
asked
thank
good
you.
questions.
I try to be prepared. So let's talk about. I guess we could start off with the documentary because I got a chance to watch it twice. Paul
Uh-huh.
and Trisha, The Art of Fluidity, and it's on Amazon, Apple TV. Everybody. So talk about how that all happened.
That was kind of an interesting process. Around the just before COVID happened, we were doing a series of pop-up art shows, and by that I mean we would rent a vacant retail space, a shop that was empty we'd rent it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, have an art show there, and then we'd move on, right?
Right.
So we did a couple of these, and the guy I was working with, he said, you know what we need? We need like a 20, 25 minute movie that plays continuously in the exhibition, like they
Hmm.
have in museums. So you come in anytime and you see this documentary, you can watch it for 20 minutes and you get the whole story. So I said,
Okay.
okay, great, let's do it. So his girlfriend is a filmmaker, a film director. So she started to come over here and interview me for this documentary, right?
Right.
Well, we realized after just a couple of meetings that there was more than 20 minutes. And she said, yeah, there's a lot more here. And in the course of the interview, I told her all about my second career. I have a career as a second artist, which evolved over the years. And I created this female character called Trisha Van Cleef. And I used to like to go out, started in London, go out to the clubs in drag and play around and have a good time, right?
Right.
Of course, it one day it occurred to me, well, you've got this other personality that you've created. What kind of art would she make?
Yeah.
Would she make different art to Paul? So I kind of thought about that and I realized that my stuff is very contrived and worked out. It's all about ideas.
Hmm.
It's very labor intensive. I create very complicated images that take a long time to paint.
Right. I'm sure.
Um, Trisha's reaction to that was like spontaneous.
Hmm.
Don't think about what you're making. Just enjoy the act of painting and just play with paint with water, just see what happens. So I got into that and I started to do a series of abstract paintings and I'd paint them, enjoy them, and I sort of look at them. Then I'd sort of put them in my storage space. Well,
Hmm.
every now and again I'd go over there and I go, oh, that's not a bad painting actually. I'd bring it back to the studio. And one of the accidents that happened in my studio, I went out one night as Trisha and I ripped my stockings on something in the studio. So I took the stockings off because it was ripped
Right.
and changed it, right? About a week later, I went, wow, wonder if I could use that because I'm kind of a result of my time I was born. I was born in 1945.
Right.
So in England, I was raised to be very frugal and very austere, not to waste anything. I was always told,
Hmm.
don't throw that away. So here was this pantyhose in my
Hmm.
studio, not thrown away. And I said, well, I've got to find some use for it. So the first thing I did was to take the pantyhose and stretch it over the
Oh.
painting to the state where
Oh.
it would, to the maximum where it would rip. I think
Okay.
the image on the screen that's on there right now
Right.
is the image of the
Oh
car on
yeah,
the.
let me show some of the I could share the screen here. We could see some of your stuff here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Your paintings here. Let's see if
So
it shares. Go ahead.
the
Oh,
result was by doing this, you stretch this stuff to the maximum. So there was kind of a tension in the image,
okay.
right? And of course, it's semi-translucent, transparent because as it rips, you can see through it. And I'd
Right.
sort of look at it and I go, oh, great, that's it. And I'd fix it with a staple gun,
Oh, okay.
and that was it. And it took like 10 minutes, and it was done. I was like,
I
yeah,
noticed that how you did that. You know what I really love is how you did it with the sand.
uh-huh.
Because I don't know what kind of sand do you use with that?
Um, I buy sand in the store from the art store, multicolored, it has to be fine grain as well. You can't use
Right.
sand from the beach. I found that out very early on. Sand from the beach is very, very big grain sand. It's no good. Yeah. Um, so I've got all these materials around my studio. I've got sand, I've got paint, I've got
Right.
oil paint, I've got anything that's around my studio. Trisha will use it
Oh, okay.
spontaneously. It's kind of like I always try to sort of empty my mind of any preconceived notion of what it's going to turn out like.
Hmm.
I just see what appeals to me in that moment, the colors that appeal to me, the mood I'm in, how I feel at that moment, and then I just go for it. And my goal is for it not to look like a painting.
Okay.
As soon as I start to see my hand
Right.
or the brush, I stop. It's like less is more, you know?
But now, I love the fact that you wait till it's dry and you don't really know how it's going to really turn out, right? Until the painting dries, right? When you use the
Yeah.
sand. That's pretty
Um,
neat.
well, I've only found this out recently. You know, when you see pictures of the Renaissance and they write a letter
Right.
and they sprinkle something on it to dry it,
Right.
I didn't know that was sand that they use. I didn't know
Oh,
that. I only found that out recently. But what I was doing was I would do this painting and I work flat on the floor as well. I don't work
right.
vertical. That's the other difference between Paul and Trisha.
Oh, okay.
I work flat on the floor. What I'm working with is completely it's mobile, it's wet. If you tilt the
Okay.
canvas or mess with it, the water will run, right? So I manipulate it just in my present moment, what I think looks aesthetically nice. And then I go, okay, somehow I want to stop that now. That's how I want it to stop. So
Oh,
I'll show you in a while. I've
yeah,
just,
I could see some. I'm having issues with your website coming up, so maybe you could show a few.
oh, how would I do that?
Oh no,
Go
maybe another time we'll do it, but
to
keep
my,
going.
go to my picture library. So yeah, I've got all these colored sands around the studio. So one day it just occurred to me, hey, I'll sprinkle sand on this, and
Hmm.
maybe that will stop it spreading anymore and fix it. And it was amazing. What happened was the sand kind of absorbed the water
Oh,
and stopped it as I wanted it to stop. But then as it dried, it created these little sort of textures, amazing textures as the water evaporated and the paint and the sand coalesced. You get these amazing natural textures that I couldn't possibly paint.
hmm.
And once again, it was all done in 20 minutes, you know. Now, sometimes I'll do a painting late at night and I'll go to bed, you know, leave the studio, go to bed, and I come back in the morning and it's completely different
Wow.
how I left it. And it's out of my control. That's what I also like about it. I kind of set up the situation, but the end result I can never predict. It's like
Oh,
all these weird little natural things that happen through the evaporation of the water. I can't ever predict them. And it's a complete surprise to me every time.
I love that it's a complete opposite of what you do, the serious, artwork for record covers and that. It's just fantastic how it's such a contrast.
Yeah. A psychologist friend of mine, she said, do you realize that those two roles are very apropos to the genders? So I said, what do you mean? She said, well, your male work is very analytical. It's very about expressing ideas. It's clever. You're showing off a skill of painting, right? And you have a preconceived notion in mind. Sometimes my paintings will take a week or 2 weeks to finish, you know. So it's a process. And
Hmm.
I use all the techniques that I learned over the years from painting to make that happen. Well, I throw all that out of the window when I do my Trisha work. It's like I go back to being a kid almost, you know?
Now, do you actually dress as Trisha when you do these paintings, or is it
Uh,
just, does that
it's
help
not
the
it's not
mood of that?
it's not necessary,
Okay.
I always say it's kind of a frame of mind that I get into, Um, yeah, it can help sometimes, but it's also, paint is very messy. You get
Yeah,
it on
I'm
your clothes.
sure.
You get
I'm
it on your
sure it
clothes.
is. Yeah, you don't want to get all these clothes messed up, right?
Don't want to get it on your favorite dress.
Yeah, it's funny. But it is fascinating. I mean, how that how that sand goes on and it develops. But that's almost like you compare it to like improv music. You're all of a sudden you're playing music and then something happens that
Yeah.
you don't expect.
Well, I've been making them at festivals with bands as bands play, which is really a nice experience because working in the studio, you have unlimited time. You're on your own, unlimited time. You work with the band, there's a time limit.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
the sets only last, 60 minutes or whatever, right? So you have like a deadline. You've got to do something by this time. And when I do the Trishas, it's sometimes they project it up on the back behind the band while they play,
right.
so they can actually
Oh,
see the
okay.
process. Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
saw, yeah, I saw you do one with Brand X. That was really, they were showing that when they were
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah. It's fun because, like I say, it's a lonely uh, profession when you work by yourself in your studio. It's nice to get out
Oh,
and
imagine.
do it in front of people, and they can't believe that it happens in front of them. Because the Trisha work happens very fast. That's the other thing.
Now, where do you show these at gallery shows? This.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I've done a series of what I call one man, one woman shows,
Oh, that sounds great.
where one side of the gallery is Paul's work, and the other side of the gallery is Trisha's work, and it's very different. People don't realize it's the same person.
Right. Well, that's what makes it must make really a lot of fun when somebody comes in, sees yours, like, who's this? And you're the same person.
Yeah,
That makes it a lot of
it's fun. And also, you got to think about this as well. I've also, in a way, created another career. I created this
right.
other artist and sort of launched her from scratch. So the fact that she's kind of caught on and people buy her work, that's like a whole new thing I've developed.
That's great. Now, has the documentary been getting a lot of uh, reviews from
Yeah.
people?
Oh, yeah. Very good reviews. I was surprised. We were thinking, in the current sort of political atmosphere that it would attract negative attention, but everybody's been very complimentary. I think because it's not sort of in your face,
Mm,
it's
right.
not controversial, it's not sort of pushing an agenda. In fact, a lot of people have said to me, it's quite a revelation. I really enjoyed it. I never realized that someone would have a life like this. It's kind of a glimpse into someone's life. And I'm purposely not political about it.
Yeah, you can't get into that because then you get people that get kind of upset, really upset about politics. They take it really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to persuade anybody or convince anybody of a certain lifestyle. It's just what I've done. In fact, I said to someone the other day, it's kind of funny in a way for me because it's like society has kind of caught up with me.
That's
You know,
true.
when I first used to do this publicly in like the late 80s, early 90s, I started to go out
Right.
and I didn't kind of know what it was. I mean, I knew the phrase not transgender, trans
Gender.
uh, not transgender. What was the other term they used to use? Oh, cross dresser.
Right, right. Cross-dresser. That's
You're,
it.
you're a cross dresser. You're a drag queen or
Yeah,
whatever,
right.
right? And it was kind of like they didn't fit me, those terms. I knew a lot of drag queens, and they were really like way over the top.
Mm,
If you think about it, being a drag queen, getting up on the stage and lip syncing is a totally different experience to going out as yourself in the street
right.
and mixing with people, going into a club, going into a restaurant. That's another big one, right? That's
Oh,
very,
that
very,
must be something.
it's very different because you're dealing with people one on one, not at a distance on a stage. And
Right.
And so your integrity is on the line. Do you look nice? Do you pass as a woman? Are you embarrassing? Are you cool? All those things come into play. So it went on and on. Then I looked up all the psychological stuff, obviously, right? Like, why do I do this?
Right.
Because certain people would
Yeah.
say, it's very perverted, it's very weird. And to me, it was never really sexual. It was just another way of presenting myself to the world, and having this great palette of
Right.
clothes to play with, much more interesting than the guys' clothes. So that went on, and then after a while, I heard somebody say the term transgender. I mean, oh, that's what I am.
Hmm.
So it's like it's caught up
Yeah.
with me. So now they've invented a term that I feel comfortable with, and it works, and everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, it's more acceptable now to go out like back maybe then it was kind of, but you dressed up really well. I mean, you really couldn't tell. I mean, you really did look like a woman. I mean, and especially on the documentary,
Yeah,
it was hard to distinguish. So it was great how you did it.
cosmetics.
Yeah, you really had it down to a science to me. But you're an artist, so you're really, it's like it's like an art that you're
Well, that's it.
portraying. Yeah.
See, I'm glad you appreciate that because I always say that it's like as an artist, it'd be kind of weird if I did that and I looked strange, if I looked ugly or whatever, right? So to me, making my face is like another painting,
Right, right.
because as you do it, you learn what works and what doesn't work and what is easy to do. I don't like to do like really complicated. Some guys spend hours, they spend 6 hours getting ready. I'm very sort of boom, done. In fact, in the documentary, I actually create myself on camera.
Oh, right. I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So
Were you influenced by the glam rock phase, when Bowie was dressing up, Peter
yeah,
Gabriel, they were really doing a lot of makeup and
yeah,
all
of
types
course.
of
Yeah.
characters.
Remember the Rolling Stones?
Right, I remember that.
Have you seen Your Mother Baby? What's that record
Yeah, I
called?
think I did see them dress up, right.
Yeah.
So
So
that
yeah.
whole phase, with in music.
Well, also coming up in the 70s, we would kind of experiment with clothes. I'd wear high heels, high
Mm,
heel boots. My hair was long, of course, right? So that was a natural. I didn't have to wear a wig.
right.
And you'd play around with makeup, and maybe I'd say to my girlfriend, "Oh, can I borrow your shirt tonight?" Or "Can I borrow your?" "Oh, yeah, sure." There was no kind of stigma attached to it. So I was kind of playful with my dress. There wasn't a male or female. I could wear whatever I wanted. So I looked nice and I felt nice. That was the whole goal of it. And I kind of say that in the movie. My goal is to
Mm,
look as pretty as I can. And that's
right,
it. There's no
right.
more to it than that. Don't try and psychoanalyze it and go into deep meanings. It's just like, yeah, I want to look pretty. And of course, that's more so now as I get old. So,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
But
the
it was quite a surprise when it came when you all of a sudden changed persona there. I mean, it didn't happen right away in the documentary, and all of a sudden, like, wow, Paul's got a different look here.
yeah,
And then you did the art, and it really just made sense. That's when everything for me kind of like locked in what you were trying to do.
yeah. It's very playful, right?
Yes, that's what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, our lives are short here on this planet, and you've been lucky to express yourself. You have the talent, and it showed off well. It really
I, I
worked.
I said the other day I just took part in it's called the Vision Train. It was a 5-day international art jam.
Okay,
Artists from all over the world take part in this all create, different time zones are all doing interviews and so on. And I made a sand painting, which I've got in the studio. I can show it to you if you want.
okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Shall I move the camera over there?
Sure,
Because that's
no
another aspect.
problem. Absolutely.
So in the course of this interview, I said that I think I have the best job in the world.
Okay, yes, I remember you said that. I think the last time.
Yeah. Being an artist is the best job in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you're expressing yourself, and you're you do great work, and people know you from, oh, look at that. Beautiful. That is really something. That is
So this is another thing I did. This is Paul. You see,
okay.
it's very complicated, very busy. It's made of sand. I use this tool
Wow.
that the Tibetans use.
Okay. Wow, that
And
is very geometrically, it's so precise.
yeah, and the story with these is this is based on the Tibetan tradition.
Okay.
You create this graphic design in sand, and you always have a purpose or a theme.
Hmm.
The Tibetans would do things like peace, loving kindness, whatever. I made empathy as the theme of this one. And you can see around the edges
Oh, I see that.
in 4 languages is the word empathy. English, French, Spanish, and Russian. I did it in Russian this time because I figured they need a little empathy right now.
That is some really precise painting. I mean, to get every one of those uh, triangles correct, that must have taken a lot of time
Yeah.
and
Well,
a
it's
lot
sand.
of patience.
It's sand, right?
Yep.
You put sand in this tool. I'll show you. I'll give you a little demo.
Okay. Oh, that is really cool. Neat. That is something.
And
Yeah.
this took 4 days.
It's almost like three-dimensional, the way if you look straight into that painting, how it takes you
Yeah.
into that world.
Well, this is this
That is
middle here.
really neat.
It's
Look
called
at
a
that.
Sutra. It's Buddhist sacred geometry. This is once again it's an equal part male and female.
Oh,
It,
okay.
all the triangles that point upwards are male, and all the female aspects of the triangle that points downwards.
Hmm.
So this is a fusion of both the genders together.
Oh, I see that.
It's very old. It's very sacred geometry. It's very powerful.
That's what I'm saying. You could put something on there and manifest your thoughts into something out into the material world.
Yeah. So the way this works, I'll show you.
Hmm.
You have sand in here,
Right.
and it comes down to a very fine cone, right?
Okay.
So then you're using, and you see the serrations on the edge here.
Right.
As you do this, the sand comes out. Can you see this purple sand?
Yep.
See
Oh,
that?
yeah. See that.
Okay.
How did you figure out those colors? Is that based on,
It's once again, it's spontaneous.
oh, really? Wow.
The, the design is drawn on this board underneath in pencil, but every time I do this, I think I've probably done this particular design 3 or 4 times. I just do the colors as they occur to me.
Oh, okay.
This one, I wanted to get this idea of light radiating out from the middle, radiating out.
Yeah, that's a very powerful painting. I mean, it
Yeah.
really, you could feel it, how that radiates out into the material world here.
So then the tradition is that you you do this, you make this, and the Buddhists, I mean, they make really, really complicated ones.
Hmm.
They work for 4 or 5 days, and there's usually 6 guys. And there's the old guys that do all the detail,
Right.
and the guys do the blocks of color and so on, right? And they work away for like 6 days, and they kind of have a schedule. They finish it, I think they leave it for a day, and then they brush it away.
Right. I think I saw that on in the documentary. I remember
Yeah,
that. It just,
yeah.
that's it. All that work is just vanished.
Well, the idea is that as you make it, as I was making this piece,
Right.
all the time I was doing this work, I'm thinking, and I'm turning over the idea of empathy in my mind. You know, what is empathy?
Right.
How does it
Hmm.
manifest? All that kind of thing. And that's the intention. And the Buddhist tradition is that every grain of sand in this design has got that thought or that vibration in it of empathy. So you finish the piece, you leave it for a while, then you brush all the sand into a bucket or a holder, and then the tradition is you throw it into the nearest body of water,
Oh, okay.
river, lake, or the ocean. Well, I'm right by the Pacific.
Oh, I see.
So I
Oh,
do it and I throw it into the Pacific. And the idea is that vibe or that feeling that's in that sand is dispersed throughout the water. So
uh,
it's very nice.
it is beautiful. Now, do you,
Also,
now this,
also the other thing,
go
it's
ahead.
unlike when you make a painting, there's no ego involved. You know, you're not trying to be clever or you're not trying to create something that
Right.
you're manifesting a graphic design. And of course, the amount of finish that you put into it is entirely up to you. You know, how sharp I make every one of these designs,
Right, right.
how perfect I make each one. That's entirely my decision as I work. I could get obsessive about it and make it on the level of every grain of sand, you know, but I don't. I do it to my own personal level of how I want to finish it and let it go. So that
Beautiful.
when you destroy it, you also let it go. Like at the moment, all that vibration of me working over 4 days and the
Mm.
intention is locked up in this design right now.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Right? It's all here. In a way, it's static. And the only thing that ever happened to this piece is it's going to be destroyed somehow
Okay.
by accident or on purpose or whatever, right? So when you purposely destroy it, you release it.
Mm.
Now, I've had some very interesting events happen where I've done one of these paintings
Yeah.
at a festival, and some guy will come by and he say, "Oh, I want that. Can I buy it from you, or can I take it home with me?" And I say, "It's yours, man. Take it,"
Mm.
because you know they cannot transport it.
No, I can't see how they could.
I mean, if I was to bang this, everything would start to go fuzzy. The
Mm.
sound, it's all mobile if you want. You know, I can bang it, and all the colors would start to blend into each other. In fact, we've experimented with different ways of destroying them.
Mm.
Uh, I put a bass speaker underneath them one time and put a really low bass note through this, and it all just started to, the sand would creep and make these amazing, like little sand dunes, right? Um,
Wow. That's
my
something.
cat was good at it. I put my cat on it and we scratch it. The best one was when we were shooting a movie and the guy said to me, I tell you what, he said, run it over with your truck.
Ah.
So I said, okay. So I ran over it with my truck and it didn't really do that much damage. It made like a little tread mark across it, right? It was, yeah, okay. So then he said to me, okay, I got another idea. Back your truck up so the wheel is in the middle of it and pop the clutch. So I said,
Ah,
okay, great.
okay.
And he was recording it in slow motion, right? So I popped the clutch. And what happened was amazing. The board that the painting was on went flying across the parking lot and it left the sand.
Oh, man, that must have been amazing.
Sort of like, you know, when you pull the tablecloth out from under all the crockery. Uh,
Right.
so after a while, the destruction aspect becomes interesting as well. You get very playful with that because you're not so attached to the finished thing. So it's like, let's see how many different ways we could destroy this thing, you know. I think I'm gonna try maybe shooting a gun at it one
Is that what
time.
you're gonna do? A gun with this one? That should be something. The effect you feel of that
Yeah,
with the power of a gun and the speed into, especially if you hit it right in the center of that ring.
yeah. Well, who
Oh, like a
knows?
bullseye.
Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen?
Wow. That is fascinating. That is that's something how when you get that sacred geometry, how that becomes a life of its own and such a power source.
Yeah, I was always interested in kind of a spiritual aspect of my work, and by that I mean spiritual. I don't mean religious. I mean something that would enable me to be in touch with spirit without being stupid about it, you know, and praying and all that sort of stuff. Like it's just I just wanted to touch that energy, the
Yeah.
energy of creating.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw a podcast on somebody that has this sacred geometry, and then they have a scalar generator, and they're generating these waves, and it's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's fun. And I meditate. I'm a regular meditator. So it kind of goes into that as well, because as I do this, it is almost like a meditation.
I imagine it is.
Very, very out of myself. I'm very focused on very trivial little tiny detail, you know.
That's a lot of detail. Now, when you do this and go to sleep at night, are you dreaming? Are your dreams more vivid because of this uh, painting that you did? That's
I
not
do
destroyed yet?
I do have interesting dreams. Yeah, yeah.
You must from this.
I
I could
had
see.
I had a dream last night. I was arguing with Roger Waters.
Ah, that's something.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't the stuff that you think you'd be arguing about, you know, Palestine or whatever. It was really stupid stuff. It was like trying to order food off a menu, and he was telling me what was good for me and what wasn't good for me, you know. And I
That's
was,
something.
but it's my
Wow.
body, man, you know. It was,
Yeah.
and he was the old Roger Waters, not the one now,
Yeah.
the younger one, you know.
Yeah, we drift back into our younger bodies at times when we dream, you know. It's what we do. But Paul, thank you for showing this. This is really
Hey, I
fascinating.
can move over here now because you're in my studio.
Sure.
Over here is a Trisha that I just finished recently.
Oh yeah, let's see that.
Let's
Love to
move
see
it.
that.
It's kind of big, quite large.
It's okay. Maybe it's good the website didn't work because now we're getting a much better view live. Oh, I like that.
Let me find it.
Beautiful. That
Let
is
me,
a
I'll put it
I
on a
saw
chair.
that.
It's very
Oh,
big.
wow. Yeah, I remember this, I think, from the documentary, but yeah, I like that. Wow. That's like the galaxies of the universe.
Yeah,
And is that with the sand again that you did?
that's yeah. Should I go in close so you can have a look
Yes,
close?
please. That really makes a big difference. Wow, look at that. That is really fascinating. It looks like you actually got lights on it that are coming out of the painting.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
funny. I do several shows in Italy, and I have a friend there called Marco who organizes my art shows.
Right.
And he said to me one day, he said, "You know, I've known you for 30 years." He said, "I bet you're painting real galaxies. I
You
bet you're
never know.
channeling, I bet you're channeling real galaxies."
I bet you are. I mean, and it's plus not only that, it looks like light. There's
Yeah, oh
actually light
yeah,
coming out of that. That's what's really fascinating.
that's that.
That is great.
There you go. And it's big. You can
Beautiful.
see the size of it.
Yeah, that is big. Holy smoke. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's a good example of one that I got it to how I liked it, probably about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I sprinkled it with sand and I went to bed and I woke up and it was like, oh my God. I,
that is good,
I didn't
beautiful.
do that because you could never paint. I mean, look at some of these textures. Can you
No,
see
you
it?
can't.
Really?
Can't paint that. That's just
Can you see that?
yeah, look at that.
There's
I
no way I could
look at
paint
that.
that.
And I love that white. It really looks like a light.
Yeah.
Like you put a light inside the painting. It's really fascinating.
But also, it doesn't look like a painting, right?
No, no, it looks like a something from a telescope
Yeah.
that would take a picture of space.
Yeah. That's the goal for it not to look like a painting.
Thank you for showing this. I mean, everybody out there, I'm sure,
Oh,
seeing the same way how great it is.
I just
Great.
made this yesterday.
Okay. Oh, okay. Make Earth great again. I like that.
I
We're a long ways from that, but who knows? I like that globe there.
bought the print in the store for $7.
Oh, okay.
So then I this thought it was time for another perspective.
Yes, I like that. That is perfect for these times for sure.
Yeah.
But that is really something, Paul. Thank
So
you for showing that.
I've got all this stuff around my studio. Here's the poster.
Oh, there. Okay. I like the title to the documentary. It really works.
Can you see that? I
Oh
can't.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. Whoops.
Everybody out there, please watch it. It's really fascinating.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm pleased with it because it's like I said earlier, it's not in your face.
no,
It gives people that even really that don't have any interest in that lifestyle or
right.
it gives them an insight into it that isn't threatening.
No, it's an artistic statement of who you are. That's basically what it is, and it really is fascinating.
I'm going to put another one up here.
Oh yeah, look at all that. Yep. So do you do that big show in Miami where they have all those artists? Have you done that one?
I haven't yet, no.
It's it's like a week that people go down there and show their
Yeah,
art.
yeah,
Oh, I like that. That's almost could be an album cover,
yeah, yeah.
like even a classical record.
Hmm.
Did you just do that one?
No, that's quite old. When was it done? It's like 2 or 3 years old.
Okay,
I did a
that's
whole series of these with questions
okay.
at the bottom. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that.
And
That's
of
pretty
course,
neat. I like that violin there. That looks like a collage there.
that's in the. I sent you the book, right?
No, I didn't get the book. I gotta
Oh, I
order that.
didn't send you the book. Oh, when we finish today, give me your address. I'll
Oh,
mail you.
thank you. I like that. That's like a collage. Looks like you do a lot of themes. You go from
Yeah,
one. That's what I like.
this is it's 8 pieces. You see, there's 8 canvases,
Oh, yeah.
and it's the 8 deadly sins.
Oh, I see. That is really good.
As you maybe know, there were 7 deadly sins,
Yep.
and I
Yeah, I
decided,
like the way that's done. You have almost like stations. Each deadly sin is
yeah,
another design.
okay,
It's great.
there's a key to them all.
It's well done.
I have a little key. Oh, here you go.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's really nice.
See, that's envy, anger,
Hmm.
lust, which is always fascinating,
Yep.
gluttony,
Yeah.
sloth or
That
laziness,
it's like a big giant there.
greed.
Oh, that's yep. That's a really neat looking almost looks like a robot there.
Yeah,
Futuristic.
this is pride. And of course, as I said, there were 7 deadly sins, and I decided that the eighth one was religion.
Hmm. I agree.
Is this one here?
Oh, yeah, that's perfect.
And I've shown these pieces all over the world, and I've
Hmm.
never had anybody yet disagree with me that the eighth deadly sin is religion.
I agree too.
Everybody seems to agree. So this is the key, and that's the full size pieces.
Oh, wow. That's big. That's beautiful. That's quite a now you have prints of those, right? That you sell?
Yes, these are
Okay.
actually prints. Yeah,
Oh, I see.
yeah. And then we got more of these.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, there's a guitar. Looks like a drum there. Is that a drum or oh, that's a glass. Hmm.
Yeah, it's actually a glass of Guinness.
That's what I thought.
But when you look close, it's galaxies, stars and galaxies.
Oh, I see. How you put that in. That's really neat. That's another record cover somebody
Yeah.
could
Oh, yeah.
use.
It was used by a band called New Quartet.
Hmm. I don't know
Yeah, they
that.
use that image as a record cover. And then
Wait,
got Justice. You see Justice?
now, do you still get a lot of requests from fans or artists to do
Yeah,
covers?
yeah, yeah. And what's going on these days is I obviously I don't want to rehash Genesis, you know.
Right.
They'll sort of say to me, I'd like to do my record cover, but can you do something like, and I say, well, what's the point?
Yeah. You've done it.
55 years ago.
Yeah. Well, they see you. Most people only know that you from those that artwork, and there's a whole nother world that you have, and that's why it was so good you did the documentary.
Yeah.
I think that made such a big. I didn't even know you did all this other kind of work, and I'm sure people out there don't know, and hopefully they know now that are going to be watching
It's
this.
it's a surprise, yeah. I mean, I think in the original stage it was like, well, okay, I'm not going to go out and blah 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 blah. You know, I'm just live my life, right?
Right.
And those that find out, and then quite organically the documentary happened,
Hmm.
and so it was meant to be, you know. And
Right.
I was very fortunate that the woman that was the director, Fia Pereira, she was very sympathetic, and she asked me very, very good questions that led to me just yeah, 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 yeah. You know, I mean, once I get going, I'm a motor mouth, you know.
Well, that's what happens. I mean, if you
Yeah.
get good questions and come out with people hearing your story.
Yeah. And then what would happen inevitably was that question would lead to something else. I'd answer that question, and in the course of answering it, I'd mention a certain topic. And say, oh, tell me more about that. And
Right.
that led to this. And you know, it went on and on. She was very open. She was very good at getting me to talk about all those things, you know.
See, that's what you could tell it's a good director or good interviewer. That they answer the right, give you the right questions, and then you expound on that with your story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's,
let's hear a little bit about Father Paul.
okay.
I'd love to let me hear that story about when you go on a plane and you mentioned something about that. It's kind of
Yeah.
funny.
That started oh God, maybe 25 years ago. Um my neighbor at the time, I lived downtown in a loft with a whole bunch of artists, and my neighbor was this guy, this Scots guy, kind of funny guy, right? He was a computer guy, but he had his name changed legally to Mr. Mister.
Okay.
His name was
Legally? Ah,
Mr. Mister, yeah. So he was funny, right? So then one Halloween, he said to me, I'm going to go as a priest this year. Do you want to come with me? I'm going to the store where they sell all the stuff for churches, right?
right.
So I said, yeah, sure. So we go along to this place in LA. It was a mind blower. You can buy any of that stuff.
Hmm.
They have all the robes, all the paraphernalia, all the stuff, and they never ask you, are you a priest? So I said, oh shit, I think I'll get myself a shirt and a collar as well, right?
Yeah.
So we went out for Halloween as two priests. Now he's a big guy. He's twice as big as
Right.
me, and he really looked the part, right? And I'm a little sort of skinny guy. So we went out to Halloween, and nobody didn't they didn't know that we weren't priests because
Oh, that's funny.
we didn't look like we were dressed up, right? We had suits on, black suits, and the collar and the shirt, right? And it was kind of funny. It was like you go to a raving Halloween party and two priests walk in, right?
Oh, that
It's like,
that's
what's
great.
going on here?
They're gonna bless
Because
the house, right?
because our age as well, the age was appropriate as well. You know, I was like in my 60s, you know, so I looked like a possible priest. And it really struck me the way that people treated you differently.
Oh, I know.
They really treated you differently. So
My
it's like,
my grandmother would have her house blessed once a year. The
uh,
priest would come over. He would drink the best scotch in the house, get a good buzz. Oh, okay, Father, would you like some more scotch?
yeah, there was a couple of occasions where we would go somewhere, we go into another party, right, and we turn up as priests. And
That's
as you're
great.
walking there, you walk along the street, and of course, LA is very Hispanic, right? So people would like oh, bless you, Father. As you walked along the street, and it was like a complete
Oh, that's great.
different. And I remember one time we were walking along the street and there was like an outdoor cafe. And we're just walking along, all these people sitting out in the cafe, kind of having dinner, right? And I saw them kind of check themselves.
Right.
It's like, oh, priest is coming, better look good, and they actually go through this transformation before your eyes. So it was like that alone was fascinating to me. The fact that you just put on this little white piece of plastic around the,
Yes,
and in a way, it kind of separates you from everybody.
I agree.
It makes you special, makes you different. And they automatically assume that you have wisdom and all this stuff going on, right?
Right, right.
I was shooting some pictures with a friend of mine. We went to the cathedral in LA to shoot some pictures, just me in that environment, right?
Right.
And we shot the pictures. And coming home, we stopped at this market where they have like a lunch counter. And I said, "Oh, I'm going to get a sandwich." So I sat down, and I was having a burrito, right? And this guy sat down next to me, and he said to me, "Father, can I ask you something?" So I said, "Sure, yeah." And I don't
Yeah.
break character either, right? So he said to me, I work in the stock market here in LA, and he said, I'm very stressed. And he said, I go home and I I can't find a way of relaxing. Can you give me like a little tip? So basically, at this lunch counter over the course of 10 minutes, I taught him how to meditate.
Oh,
And then I saw him like 2 or 3 months later in the same place, right? And he said, "Oh, thank you. You helped me so much."
oh, wow.
So you have that kind of thing going on as well, right?
Yeah,
If someone comes up to you in the street when you got this outfit on and they ask you advice, you've got to treat it seriously.
I'm sure you do with
Can't
that.
mess, you can't mess with it. And it's very strange to me. Just a
But it's
white,
interesting. Anybody could go in and buy that
yeah,
collar and then just walk around and you're all of a sudden you're a holy man.
yeah.
You
The
know,
best
it's
the best is I go to Italy quite a bit, right? Oh, in Italy you can do anything as a priest,
mm.
right? You can park wherever you want. Nobody bothers you. They make way for you. It's just amazing, right? I remember I was coming back from Rome to LA, right? And I thought, well, I'm going to fly back as Father Paul, see what happens. Right? I'm sitting in the airport, and you know the way they call all the people first, those with a wheelchair,
Disabilities. Right, right.
disabilities, and the
Yep.
military. And I'm sitting there just reading my book, and one of the guys comes over from the airline. He says, "You can board now, Father. Go ahead."
Oh, that's amazing.
So you get
Yeah,
to board. You board first. I've been upgraded a couple of times
that is
from
something.
from economy to business, and it's funny. I got on a plane one time. I was flying within the states, right? And there was another priest on the plane,
Okay.
and we started talking, right? And I mean, I passed. I mean, in any second thought. And he asked me what my church was called. Well, my church is called the Church of the Immaculate Transmission.
And what do you say to that?
He said, "Oh, really? What kind of a church is that?" I said, "Well, we're kind of rock and roll Hindus. We're not really any particular. We're not Catholic. We're not Church of England.
Right.
We're just rock and roll Hindus. We embrace a little bit of the Hindu religion, a little bit of Buddhism. Oh, he said, that's really fascinating. I've always been interested in that ecumenical aspect, right?
Oh man.
In the course of like 2 hours on the plane, we had a really good conversation. And I never broke character.
And to think that if you never had that on, you never would have had a conversation with somebody. He probably would have ignored you the whole flight.
Oh, it was a revelation. I had one very, very strange trip on the plane coming back from Europe. And it was one of those planes where it has the seats in the side, and then the middle is five wide.
Oh, I've been on those. Yeah, those are
So
gigantic planes.
yeah, so just across from me was a family. There was a mother, father, and three kids were sitting in these five seats, right? And I'm sitting there, and we're flying a couple of hours, and then the kids started singing nursery rhymes,
Okay.
and they started singing a nursery rhyme called "Old King Cole." which Peter Gabriel sings
Right,
actually.
right, of course. A musical
So,
box.
so it made me smile, right? So I looked across and the mother caught my eye, right?
Mm.
And I'm a priest looking over her kids smiling, right? And she gave me this look. And I knew what was on her mind, right? You know, pedophile priest, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Uh,
boy.
So so it made me feel
Oh,
very uncomfortable. Right? I felt that I had to sort of put it right. So eventually, later on in the flight, most people had fallen asleep. The little kids were asleep. And I walked over to her and I said, "Hi, I just want to explain something to you." I said, when your kids were singing, I said, "I'm English, and that's a nursery rhyme we used to sing in England." She was English, right? It was an English family that were going back on the plane. And she said, "Oh, great. Yeah. I didn't know what was going on." I said, "Well, I know what was going on, but that wasn't what it was." I said, "I was just laughing and smiling because it was very familiar nursery rhyme I hadn't heard." So you got that aspect as well.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. You're right.
I've had people yell out pedophile to me in the street.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
boy.
so I usually go, "Wrong religion."
Yeah. Well, this is what the media does. It puts this stuff in people's heads,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? But you're right. Priests are very looked up. When I was a kid, I'm not a Catholic anymore. I don't believe in that. I believe in a one God type of theory of how we're created. But priests were really above everybody.
Yeah.
They, oh, Father, okay, Father, please. All right. It was quite I could see in you were older with the collar on, you know, it's
I'm the right
perfect.
age.
You
I mean,
couldn't beat that.
I'm 80 this year, right?
No, you
So
are? Okay.
I'm perfect. I'm an 80-year-old priest, right?
Well,
I
you look
look,
great for 80, Paul. You're
yeah,
you're still functioning, you're doing things. It's really great.
I'm doing my best.
That's all you can do. So what are you going to be doing this year, the rest of the year? You're going to be traveling more?
Yeah, we've got possibly another trip to Italy coming up. I'm waiting to hear from that. Uh, the problem with the Italians is they always leave everything till the last minute.
Okay.
So I'll probably get a call like a week before the event, and then everything gets, shipped and
Right,
rushed.
right.
Um, I'm doing a couple of festivals, uh, stuff like that, and art shows. I do art shows. Um, the other thing I'm doing right now is I'm getting out there and I'm demonstrating. There's a lot of demonstrations going on. I don't know if you know. Have you heard about the 50-50 thing?
Okay. No, I didn't know that.
Oh,
What's
there's,
that?
there's a movement called 50-50. It's 50 demonstrations in 50 states.
Oh, okay.
And, I think I personally think we just have to get out there and make a lot of noise.
Yeah. Are you gonna have a camper or are you just gonna drive to each
Well, no,
state?
I go to the local ones.
Okay.
Like near to me is Santa Barbara. That's like 30 minutes drive.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The event I'm going to on Saturday is right here in Ventura, and I probably would drive into LA if there's some event going on. But it's building every week. There's more and more.
Hmm.
And I think that's important to get people on the street. Nothing scares them more than millions of people on the street.
Are you gonna be doing any more Prague Fest
Yeah,
events
yeah. We're doing Prog Stock in October.
in New Jersey?
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try to make it to that. Hopefully, maybe I'll meet you there.
Where do
Say
you live?
hello.
Where are you?
I'm in central New Jersey.
Oh God, you could come on your bike.
Yeah, right, right. Prague Festival area. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a good festival. It's not big. It's not a huge festival. Very intimate. Very loyal fans.
Mm.
They have great bands.
Oh, I'm sure. Now you're going to be doing. Do you have an exhibit
Yeah.
there? Okay.
Uh, I think this will be I think it's my fifth year.
Okay.
And in the course of the time that's gone by each year, they've said to me, well, just come and you've got carte blanche to do whatever you want. But
Mm.
we'll give you an area where you can display your work. And I have a table,
Right. Right.
sell prints and books and all the rest of it. And then ahead of time, they'll give me a list of the bands,
Mm.
and I'll go through. And maybe there's somebody I've already worked with, or a band that I like. Like last year was Gong.
Oh yeah, I love them.
Gong were playing, so I say, okay, I'll paint live while this band plays. And so I do that. Each day I'll do one or two live paintings, which is also a gas, because you have you have a certain span of time to make a piece of art in.
Right, right. And you're
And you
great at that. I mean, you really have a knack for, especially the live painting.
yeah. Yeah,
And
it's good. It's fun. Like I say, it's different to being alone in the studio.
right, you're around people. Do you do the cruise at all? I know they're having that going on now.
I
The
think we're
Prague
going to be on.
cruise.
I think we're going to be on this year's cruise. In fact, I went to a gig last night. A band that I've worked with called Days Between Stations.
Okay.
I've done two covers for them, and they were playing the first live thing they've done for a while, right? And they said, "We're going to be on the cruise, and do you want to be part of our team on the cruise?" I
Yeah,
said, "Oh, yeah."
that
So
must be fun. I mean, especially to walk around. And I bet people probably don't know who you are until they see your painting. So you could probably walk around kind of anonymous as opposed to, if Steve Hackett's there or Rick Wakeman, those guys.
yeah. Well, what they do is they give you like a little space, I think, in one of the cabins.
Okay,
So
of
you have a little exhibit, and maybe you do some events. Like I would obviously do a live painting.
course.
I might even do one of my sand paintings because
That would be really nice.
it's 5 days.
Yeah, you'd have
And
time to do that.
yeah, well, the beauty of it is, uh, as opposed to like when you go to see a band play a gig, you go along and you say hi and you see the show, and maybe you say hi afterwards, and everybody goes home. You've got these guys on the boat for 5 days,
Mm,
so you can have lunch with them, you can have dinner with
yeah,
them,
right, right.
you can interact, you can hang out on the deck in deck chairs, and it's a
See,
much more relaxed way to interact with people.
and I'm sure the artists are more relaxed too. It's not as much
Yeah,
pressure as when they're doing a gig. It's a whole different environment, and
yeah,
I'm going to see Steve Hackett in the fall here in New Jersey. He's
yeah.
coming around again.
He's wonderful. Have you
He's
seen
got a
his show?
great band.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen the musical box?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, they're great.
In fact, a few years ago, they came through LA, and I think they did 5 gigs around the LA area, right? And I said to them, I'd like to do, guys. There's 3 of these gigs that I know are really nice, big spaces, right? I'm going to reproduce Foxtrot because it was it the 50th anniversary of
Right.
Foxtrot? Yeah,
Okay.
it was that year. And I said, over the course of 3 nights, I'll recreate Foxtrot twice the size, right? So we did that.
Hmm.
And that was a trip.
They are amazing how they replicate the Genesis sound. When you hear that mellotron come on, I mean, they actually use a real mellotron,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is, and that can't be easy to cart around. They must have quite a team of tech
Well,
guys.
I think they have samples now. I don't think it's not the old Meltron.
Right.
Excuse me. Yeah, they're actually I don't know whether the word fanatical is the word to use, but they're very, very dedicated to it. Has to be
Uh,
absolutely correct.
right. I saw an interview with somebody that was in the band playing drums, and he said the same thing. Every note, every phrase had to be exactly,
Yeah,
like they played it, which really now they've got a really great band, great drummer. I mean, they were fantastic.
yeah. In fact, I messed with them one year. They were doing the Lamb, and are you familiar with the Lamb?
Right?
There's one part where Rail he throws something at the background, and there's an explosion.
Hmm.
You remember that part?
Oh yeah, is that during Supper's Ready? That explosion happens and he changes
No, no, it's
outfit.
in the Lamb.
Oh yeah, the lamb. I know what you're talking about.
He's wearing
Right.
the leather jacket and the t-shirt, and he throws something at boom. There's a whiz bang. And I saw the show and I said to them, I think there used to be 2 explosions at that point. They went crazy
Hmm.
trying to dig up film and find out if there was 1 or 2 explosions. And I said, no, I was messing with you guys. There was only one.
Now, the only crazy thing about that period, I don't think there's ever was a really good video done of the band
No,
playing live.
Yeah.
over 100 gigs and never a great anybody film it. So it's too bad.
And you know why?
Why's that?
Because of the equipment they were using in the early 70s.
Right.
I mean, they had like three carousel projectors
Okay.
to do the slideshow.
Right.
So inevitably, in the course of the show, one of those carousels would be stuck
Oh.
and it would be out of sync. So I
Hmm.
don't think there was ever a show where everything worked perfectly and went off as planned. There was always some equipment problem
Oh, that's too bad.
because it was analog, you know. It was
Yeah.
all
Right.
um, all those problems that you have moving instruments around on the road, you know.
Right.
So they
Right.
never actually had a good show that they recorded.
Huh.
I
I
think that
know that's too bad because that was must have been incredible to. I didn't see the show. I wish I did. But did you see the Lamb tour?
several times, yeah. Yeah.
That must have been incredible.
They did a very good audio recording of the Shrine gig in LA here. And I think
Okay.
they put that out as a live thing. But they never got film of it. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't that though? Over 100 shows.
Yeah.
And I've seen clips where people have put things together where, and there was a clip from France I saw on the internet. It's like a counting out time, the
Yeah.
only song, and that's a good clip of the band. It's in
Yeah.
black and white. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Right. Yeah.
So,
That's
but anyway, well, Paul, this has been a pleasure. Thank you again.
okay.
And hopefully I can see you at Progfest when you're in New Jersey.
Well, please do make a date of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing this again.
We
And
could probably do some interviews at the show, you know?
I hope so. Maybe I want to talk to the gentleman that organizes this. So if you have the gentleman's name, you could
Okay.
send it to me. And
Okay.
then also, I'd love to get your book. That's why
Right.
I didn't get that.
Text me your address
I will. And
when we
then
hang up.
just go to your website for anybody interested in purchasing any of your paintings or anything that you have, right?
Prince. Yeah.
I see you
Yeah.
have furniture too.
Yes.
You do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
We didn't even get into that, the three-dimensional stuff that I did. Cars and whatever, you know.
What a career. It's fantastic. So thank you again, and it's been a pleasure to have you do this again, and best of luck this year, and stay healthy, and we look forward to more great art.
Thank you very much.